Hello everyone, this is Colleen Lemma, starseed astrologer and spiritual messenger from sacredsoulempowerment.com, here to do your weekly angel card reading for Monday, February 3rd through Sunday, February 9th, 2020. For this week's weekly reading, we'll be using the Angel Tarot deck by Jane Wallace for the main message for everyone. And your special message card this week, depending on your stone of choice, will be coming from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck by Colette Baron Reed. So just a reminder that we're into the month of February now. This is the first full week of the month of February. And if you would like to see the monthly angel card reading, be sure to go onto my YouTube channel and watch that February message to gain an overview energetically of the month of February, the astrological highlights of the month, as well as messages from our angels and guides. So let's go ahead and start by looking at our stones of choice for this week's weekly reading. We're going to take a look at the first stone, and the first stone is this beautiful amethyst colored stone. And of course it is amethyst. Not just amethyst colored, but amethyst. So this relates to the crown chakra, opening up to higher wisdom and knowledge, opening up that crown chakra to higher perceptions, higher spiritual insights. This is a great stone for meditation. It's a great stone for spiritual activities. It's a great stone to remember your dreams or do dream recall with. So it's, again, got this very higher vibrational, unconditional love, humanitarian kind of energy to it. Our second stone of choice is this beautiful citrine cluster. Now, citrine is this golden yellow stone. Sometimes it's lighter yellow, sometimes it's darker. This has almost an orangey feel to it. So this is relating to the solar plexus chakra, and in this case, maybe even the sacral chakra. Solar plexus chakra deals with our sense of power and empowerment, confidence, leadership, courage. And the sacral chakra deals with our sense of passion for life, just passion in general. It deals with creative self-expression as well. This is also stone of joy, happiness, abundance, and prosperity. And then your last stone of choice is this beautiful rose quartz heart. This is relating to the heart chakra, of course. This soft, pink, nurturing, loving energy that brings in, again, unconditional love or compassion for ourselves and others. Helps us to heal our sense of self-worth, helps to heal relationship matters or old heart chakra wounds. So again, your stones of choice here are the amethyst, the citrine, or the rose quartz. And I thought it was interesting, after I chose the stones and then I did a meditation and picked the cards for this week, I realized when I laid the cards out that the color in the back of the cards relates to the color of the three stones that I chose. You can see the purple in here, we can see the yellow, we can see a little bit of pink on the edges. So I thought that was very interesting that I just somehow subconsciously chose the amethyst, the citrine, and the rose quartz there. So let's start by taking a look at the astrological highlights for the week. On Monday the 3rd, we have Mercury, planet of the mental realm. He's called the messenger planet. He rules our thoughts, ideas, and communications. He's moving out of Aquarius and into the sign of Pisces. Now, usually Mercury only spends about 3 weeks in a sign, but Mercury is going to be in the sign of Pisces all the way until April 11th, before he moves into the first sign of the zodiac, which is Aries. And why is he spending such an extra long time in the sign of Pisces? It's because he's going to go into a retrograde motion here, coming up in March. And he's even going to dip back into Aquarius for a few days. From early to mid-March, he'll be retrograding back into Aquarius before turning back to direct motion and then moving back into Pisces once again until April 11th. Now, Mercury is a very logical and analytical kind of planet. He deals with facts and figures and things that are consciously able to be understood. In the sign of Pisces, which, by the way, is the last sign of the zodiac and a sign of completion, Pisces is very dreamy and imaginative and intuitive and creative and artistic. So he's not necessarily at home in this sign. However, Mercury in Pisces can be great for those artistic and creative projects that we're working on. So anything to do with spirituality, anything to do with writing, anything to do with creating something of any kind, he can be very good in this sign. Other than that, when it comes to something logical, analytical, tangible in regards to facts on a conscious level, it's a little bit more confusing here. He's a little bit more unsure, unsettled, or not knowing what correct choices should be made. So know that during this Mercury retrograde cycle, we're having time to complete something here because it's a completion sign, the last sign of the zodiac. So we're in a time where our perceptions, our perspectives, our thoughts and ideas, our ways of communicating with other people as well as within ourselves is undergoing some sort of healing phase or changing phase, if you will. This is great as far as just going with the flow, just letting the ideas flow, having trust and faith rather than needing to have the facts or figures or being overly logical. This is about just going with the flow, having trust and faith, allowing things to flow, being creative, and just, trusting that the universe and your angels and guides have your back as far as the direction that you're moving. And we might not be able to have total clarity until after April 11th when he moves into that first sign of the zodiac of Aries. Although that little bit of time there in early to mid-March when he dips back into Aquarius in his retrograde motion, Aquarius is also more of a logical sign. It's an air sign that deals with logic and things of a social nature. So he might be a little bit more comfortable there, but still, as he's in a retrograde motion, we're going to be restructuring, reworking, reviewing, going over things as far as what needs to be completed as far as projects or completing karmic patterns in relationships or even completing an old way of thinking or believing about something. This is about us and our belief systems as well. So there's a lot of healing and completing going on with the Mercury being in this Pisces during the next almost couple of months. On Friday the 7th, Venus, the planet of love, relationships, money, and finances, is also changing signs. She's moving out of the sign of Pisces, the last sign of the zodiac, and moving into Aries, the first sign of the zodiac. She's going to be in this sign until March 5th, so about a month's time. Now, Venus, she liked being in Pisces to a certain extent, because she's all about love and relationships, and Pisces can be this unconditional love and compassion and this kind of fantasy, romantic kind of energy. But now as she goes into Aries for the next month, she's going to be much more strong. She's going to be much more in a sense of confidence or in a position of leadership or take charge. She's going to want to become more confident in herself, more, if you want to say, almost in a sense, empowered in herself. This is all about the self because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, the sign of the self. So now the divine feminine energies on the planet, because Venus rules the divine feminine energies on the planet, and women in general as well, can be much more confident, can be much more take charge and move into, again, situations or circumstances of leadership or just into their own inner sense of leadership and making decisions or initiating new directions. This can be about the initiation of finances and money matters in a new way. It could initiate something new coming in financially, but it can also initiate a new project that will then create potentially more financial security in some way, even if it might take some time to get there. Venus, as far as relationships in Aries, is much more take charge. She becomes more of the leader. If you're not in a relationship, she can be more bold when it comes to initiating, like a date or a social situation. If you are already in a relationship, she's, again, going to become much more confident in respect to her role in the relationship or partnership and be much more vocal about it, stand in her truth, and even independence becomes stronger. Aries is a very independent sign, so the divine feminine will become much more independent as well as confident and courageous and leadership oriented. Now on Saturday, Sunday, depending on what part of the world you're in, this is on the 8th and 9th of February, we have a full moon at 20 degrees of Leo. Leo is a fire sign. Leo is the sign that rules creative self-expression, and it rules the inner child, but it does also rule leadership and take charge ability. And it's this, again, fiery, energetic, kind of expansion into the creativity or embracing the inner child kind of energy. It's kind of a fun energy, but sometimes Leo can be overbearing, and sometimes Leo can be too childish. We want to be childlike and we want to embrace the inner child, but sometimes it can be a little immature as well. Leo can be very generous, but also it likes to be appreciated for its generosity. So all of these things come into play when the full moon starts to come into its fullness on the 8th and 9th, Saturday and Sunday. This full moon is in a positive connection to Mars and Sagittarius. So again, Sagittarius is another fire sign. So there's a lot of fire here for movement, for action, for decisions, for creativity, for leadership, for expansion to happen. The full moon is also, though, in what we call a quincunx or inconjunct aspect to Pluto and Saturn in Capricorn. That aspect has to do with adjustments. So this full moon in this creative, generous, fun-loving sign of Leo needs to make adjustments when it comes to Pluto transformation and change, death and rebirth, healing the subconscious of old patterns, as well as the Saturn restructuring and being more serious and being more grounded and dealing with the past or past influences or karmic past life challenges. So again, there's just adjustments that need to be made there with that connection to the Pluto-Saturn. But the connection with Mars, again, very fun, expansive, creative, and fast-moving, because Mars in Sagittarius is a fast-moving kind of energy, and that full moon may bring some things to a head or may bring some circumstances or energies unfolding more quickly. Now, this is just a heads up for Monday of next week. On Sunday of this week, Sunday the 9th, we'll start to feel Venus, as she newly has gone into the sign of Aries, coming together with Chiron. Now, technically it doesn't happen until Monday, but it happens very early Monday morning. So we're going to definitely feel this on Sunday the 9th, or maybe even Saturday the 8th during this full moon, where Venus, again, the divine feminine in Aries, that strong, courageous, confident, take charge sign, coming together with Chiron, the wounded healer. Chiron's bringing up wounds of our sense of self and self-identity while he's in Chiron, with Venus coming into connection Saturday, Sunday, and then exactly into connection on Monday of the 10th, which is next week. This is the divine feminine healing some old karmic wounds regarding her sense of confidence, self-assuredness, self-identity, take charge ability, leadership ability, and all of those other Aries qualities. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the message from our angels and guides. And you can see we have 5 cards here. The first card came out as 2. The last card came out as 2. So let's take a look at what all these messages have to say here. The first card here is the Page of Cups. At the bottom it says friendship. Now the pages in the tarot are messenger cards, bringing communications, bringing messages, whether of a spiritual level or messages from other people. And this one being cups is about the emotions, the emotional body. So this is about family or friends that we're really close to, or loved ones, partners, if you will. That's where the messages can be coming from. And you can see we have a beautiful angel here befriending a dolphin. Dolphins are sentient beings, very connected to universal oneness, God's source energy. They're very intelligent creatures. And so here we have again the angel befriending this sentient being. And I feel like the sentient being is like an angel or a guide. So I feel like you might again receive some messages here from angels or guides, or even family members of another realm, of another dimension. Your ancestors also can be included with that. This to me also has a feeling of helping other people, befriending other people. Again, the cups is our emotions, our feelings, our connections with other people. And there might be messages that we're also giving to other people to help support them, to help uplift them, to help move them through a challenging time in their lives. And so I feel like this message has a multifold meaning here. So be open to messages of guidance from your angels and guides. Be open to loving connections or messages or communications from those that you're close to or those that you love, or also you giving that kind of support and guidance and compassion to the other people in your lives. All right, let's take a look at this other card that came out with it. Maybe it'll give us more information. Okay, interesting. We have another page, a page of wands this time, which is the fire element. So now we have, again, messages, communication, and it is more of a creative, fiery nature. So to me, this is connected to business, life path, destiny path, creative projects. This can be Mercury moving into Pisces. Of course, Page of Cups to me is more Mercury moving into Pisces. But even the Page of Wands here, again, we can be much more creative with that Piscean energy there, even though this is a fire card. The word at the bottom says ideas. So again, some of the ideas, if we match this card or put the cards together, the ideas can be much more spiritual, much more creative, much more flowing, but yet still connected to our life path, destiny path in some way. When it comes to communication or messages from our angels and guides, they're going to be inspirational, or from other people. They're going to be, again, full of energy and life and vibrance and energy. So both of these, to me, is talking about information that is coming in. And, Mercury going into Pisces, it's going to be slowing down soon as it goes into the shadow before his retrograde movement. So we want to pay attention to all forms of communication, writing, speaking, teaching, contracts, network, grouping, groups, networking with groups, I guess is what I wanted to say, or business meetings, or family get-togethers, whatever it might be. Pay attention to the messages or ideas that you're receiving at this time, especially this week here. Because we're nearing that full moon in a fire sign. So I think that's where the Page of Wands, the fire Page of Wands comes in. And, this page here, this angel, is looking up at a bird on a branch. Now, the color of the bird is significant to me. Again, it's red like fire, indicating passion, creative movement, things that are activated. To me, the red color is an activation color, so it puts energy and action in with these ideas and thoughts and communications that we're having. And perhaps the action, of the ideas, or the activating of the ideas, perhaps it comes from those people that are in our lives that are very loving, that care for us, with the Page of Cups there as well. All right, let's see the second card here. Okay, we have the King of Wands. Now we have another court card. The pages are court cards. The King is a court card. It seemed like last week's reading we had a lot of court cards too. So, with a lot of court cards showing up, people in our lives are going to be important. People that are supporting us, people that are guiding us, people that we're associated with, that we can maybe ignite a new, maybe it's a business partnership. And again, this is a wand sign, and it goes with that full moon at 20 degrees of Leo, a fire sign. There can be, again, creative projects. There can be confidence. There can be, energy and action put into something that we're working on. The King is the ruler. The King is about leadership. And that sign of Leo, where the full moon is also about leadership in a lot of ways. So here we're supposed to embody these qualities of the King of Wands, and it actually does say leadership on the bottom here. So embody those qualities of creativity, creative expansion, self-expression, leadership ability, take charge ability. This is a very confident king. He's wearing gold, and he's got gold wings, and that relates to that solar plexus chakra, that center of personal power. So here we're supposed to take our power back, or feel empowered, or own our power in some way, okay? And it goes back to the Pluto-Saturn conjunction. You know, the Pluto-Saturn conjunction back around the full moon lunar eclipse in January, on January 10th, was about situations and circumstances or relationships that were disempowering or are disempowering to us. So this to me is about us taking back our power, moving into our power and confidence, and take charge ability to move forward in a spiritual way towards something. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at, I'm stopping because he's got like a lizard or a gecko or something here walking across going towards his heart chakra almost. And the only thing, you know, the key word that comes into mind is ancient, something ancient. Like I feel like this is a guide too. So there's some sort of ancient guidance coming in and coming through the heart chakra. Some sort of ancient information or guides or creative energy or something that we're supposed to emanate forth from the heart chakra. It's almost like the heart chakra is not just about unconditional love here, but it's about, again, our sense of confidence and power expressed through the heart, through this ancient energy or this ancient information that might be coming into play for us this week. All right, and then the next card here is, the Moon card, which I guess is logical since we have a full moon. It's Major Arcana number 18, and the message at the bottom says, Angel of Dreams, Angel of Dreams, which is a very nice rendition for the Moon card. The Moon card sometimes talks about our fears and our insecurities, things coming up from the subconscious, that might be emotional challenges or emotional challenges or difficulties from the past that we've gone through. But in this sense, the moon is also our intuitive nature, our subconscious nature, and a place where dreams reside. If we think about our subconscious is where our fears and anxieties reside as well, but it's also where our dreams and hopes reside. So in this sense, with the Angel of Dreams, I feel like it has a more positive connotation. And again, that full moon in Leo, Leo is a positive, uplifting, creative, inspirational, leadership-oriented, fun kind of sign. Now, there are some adjustments to be made because of the Pluto-Saturn connection with the full moon, but remember, it's also in a positive connection to Mars and Sagittarius. So I feel like as long as we adjust for those old karmic patterns that may be playing in our head or in our subconscious, especially the full moon can kind of activate those, old fears or old subconscious patterns or thoughts or ideas or belief systems. If we adjust for those and we empower ourselves, like the previous card says, the King of Wands, empower yourself, then I feel like we can move this into a positive space of our dreams. What are our subconscious dreams? What do we wish to create in our lives? And if I'm not mistaken, it looks like there's a snake up here on top of this moon. Nope, it's a woman. I only saw her leg and it looked like a snake, so I'm going to go with that image of the snake as being one of transformation. But this is actually a woman up here on top of the moon. And, she's kind of in a sleeping position, and she's almost in a fetal position here. So I feel like we're rebirthing, which goes back to the snake image of, death and rebirth and transformation. She's in that fetal position of birthing or rebirthing herself in some way into more of a sense of her positive dreams, her positive subconscious beliefs, and turning those into, a place of creating what it is that she desires. The moon is is really often associated with what we deeply desire on a subconscious level here. It can also be what we fear on a subconscious level, but I feel that this is about turning things around to a positive. But let's go ahead and take a look at this last card, because that might give us more information. And sorry about that beeping noise, by the way. I just, that's a little thing that I can't control. But anyway, the last card is the Two of Swords, okay? Now, the Two of Swords, this is a card of the mental realm, our thoughts, where we might be conflicted about something or unsure about a decision that we need to make. There might be two different paths that we could follow, and we're not sure which one is the correct one for us at this time. Now, it does have purple wings here in the background, so I feel like we have a connection to our higher soul self here, or again, that higher wisdom and knowledge of the crown chakra to kind of bring forth the correct choice or decision for us in this moment. The word at the bottom does say uncertainty. So again, the moon here, this full moon, might be bringing a sense of uncertainty into our lives, and we might be unsure as to a decision that needs to be made. This could be about conflicting communications with another person, where one person has certain ideas or thoughts or belief systems, and another person in our life has differing thoughts, ideas, or belief systems, and so we're at this kind of standstill or conflict. But remember, it's the number 2. If we can come into a sense of balance within ourselves, if we can come into a sense of balance in our mental body and how we think and perceive and communicate, if we can come into a balance with the other person that this may be relating to, then we'll be able to work it out. As long as we don't let the subconscious mind of fears and anxieties run away with us. So focus on that full moon connection to the inspirational Mars in Sagittarius, rather than the quincunx connections to Pluto and Saturn, which can throw a little bit of a monkey wrench in something this week. So let's go ahead and take a look at the special message card depending on your stone of choice. Okay, so let's give this a little shuffle. I'm going to just take a breath here. And the first stone of choice was the Amethyst. And as I open my eyes, this card is sticking up. So Amethyst, people, is number 51, milk and honey. Well, that sounds good. I mean, milk and honey is the sweetness of life, right? It's nourishing, it's sweet. There's a rainbow in the background, which signifies hopes, dreams, and wishes. The number 51 numerologically adds up to the number 6, which is also about balance, balancing our inner world with our outer world, and a sense of things moving into a successful place, that we're successfully being recognized for who we are out in the world. And so again, I feel like there's something good happening here with this milk and honey. Again, we're being nourished by spirit. We're being nourished by the energies in some way. We're being nourished by our higher soul selves when we connect to that spiritual part of us. And that honey is the sweetness of life. And look at the jar of honey is almost at the end of the rainbow, kind of signifying that pot of sweetness at the end of the rainbow. So I feel like you're on the way towards your hopes and dreams and wishes and what you want to manifest, and peace and love and all good things. Of course, this relates to chakra colors, especially the root chakra, the solar plexus chakra. Actually, it's all the chakras. As I look at it, there is all the colors there: the red, the orange, the yellow, the green, the blue, the purple. So balance your chakras in your meditation and call in that milk and honey sweetness. Call in the blessings of the universe. Get outside into nature. I feel like fresh air is important also, to kind of breathe in that fresh air. And as you're breathing in the fresh air, imagine you're breathing in the blessings of the universe. And there was one other thing that kind of came in, and I'm not sure that it's still there. It was something about creative self-expression. So I feel like this is bringing in some blessings as far as any creative projects that you're working on, putting energy towards those and getting some return on that in some way, some recognition or return on that in some way. Okay. And then for those of you that chose the citrine Calling in the citrine energy, and this one's sticking up. Citrine people, message in a bottle, and this is number 15, which is the opposite of 51. It still equals a 6 if we reduce it down. So again, there's something, you know, balanced here coming in. And just as the card says, message in a bottle, I feel like there's a message from the universe that's coming. Now, I don't know if it's going to come this week. It may come this week, but I feel like this may be throughout the Mercury retrograde cycle, that you're waiting for some sort of communication. Maybe you've already begun some sort of process of communication with somebody, but it might be a few weeks during Mercury retrograde and then thereafter until you hear. Now, you know, Mercury goes into Aries on April 11th. I don't know if it'll be quite that long, but at least until Mercury goes into direct motion, which is going to be like latter March. I think right towards the end of March, it goes back to direct motion in Aquarius. Once it goes back to direct motion, that's when you may hear whatever it is that you're waiting for. The response you're waiting for, the communication you're waiting for. Maybe it's about a job or something to do with your career. Maybe it has to do with money or finances. Maybe it has to do with a partnership, whether business or romantic or otherwise. But there's some sort of message that's coming to you. And the stork here, to me, the stork can indicate a birth of something new. You know, the stork is often depicted when there's a birth of a baby. So I feel like this is the beginning of something. Now, this could, you know, birth in a new project or relationship or something to do with your career. But it also could be the birth of a new thought or idea or way of thinking that comes in. It's a positive indication. Even if the message comes back not exactly what you wanted to hear, there's still a positive indication here with the stork that it's something that's needed to redirect you in some way on your path. So whatever this message is, call it in and be patient for it, because it might take a little bit of time before it gets to you. All right, and then for the people that chose the rose quartz. Rose quartz people. This one's calling my attention. This is Truth Be Told, number 14. And the 14 is a karmic number in numerology, dealing with karmic issues of freedom in some way. And something that we need to be patient for as we're restructuring. As we're patiently restructuring our lives, then the freedom that we're seeking comes in, whatever that freedom might be about. Now, this is about speaking your truth. Truth be told, speaking your truth and having the truth spoken to you as well. It has an owl here, and the owl, to me, is a message of wisdom. I always think of wisdom and higher soul knowledge, or connection to our higher soul self when I think of the owl as an animal totem. So we're needing to really tell our truth from a place of our higher soul self, or tell our truth from a place of wisdom. I feel like it's like the truth will set you free is the phrase that just kind of popped in since I was talking about freedom with the number 14. So the truth will set you free. Like maybe you've been holding on to something for far too long and you haven't been speaking your truth to someone about something. So it's time now to speak your truth, to contemplate carefully how you want to express it, what you want to say, because the owl is that idea of contemplation and going within. But once you have an idea of what it is you need to say and how you are going to express it, then you need to speak your truth lovingly, spiritually. There's also a mask down here. So there's something about taking off that mask of illusion. Maybe you haven't been seeing the truth of a matter or the truth of a person or situation. It's time to take off the mask, time to see things clearly. And again, this might be information coming to you from other people, to where people are expressing their truth to you. And it's just a two-way street. You know, it's time for all of us to express our truths to one another authentically, but still with love and compassion and a sense of what do I want to say? A sense of balance, that's not quite the word I'm looking for, but a sense of reverence, that's the word I'm looking for. We need to speak our truths to one another authentically, but with reverence for the other person as a soul going through their own lessons and challenges. But, you know, it's still something to where if we hold on to our truth and we don't express it, then our throat chakra is closed off. Then we're going to create some sort of difficulties either in the physical body in that area of our body, or also just karmically speaking, by not being authentic, by not being real, by not being truthful in some way. So I hope you've all liked this weekly angel card reading. Thank you so much, all of you, for commenting, sharing, subscribing to the channel, following my weekly and monthly readings, as well as those of you that have started to watch my new monthly podcast with psychic medium Kathy Munson. We just started that in January. February's will be coming out soon. Our goal is to publish it on the 11th of every month. So please watch for that new podcast. It's under Empowered Voices on our YouTube channel, or Empowered Voices on our new Facebook page. Or you can also contact us with any questions or ideas for something you'd like to hear us talk about in our future podcast at empoweredvoices11, the number 11, at gmail.com. So thank you all for those of you that continue to visit my website, Sacred Soul Empowerment, that support me in all different ways, including energetically on my path. I send you all much love and light and many, many angel blessings.